if you want to lose in family court, go in angry.
Never die. 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 Never die.
All right. It is Tuesday, and this is going to come out Wednesday, but this is the Angry Dad. I appreciate you guys tuning in. But before we get into today's podcast, I have a special guest, David Pisarra. Yeah, I'm sorry, brother. I tried.
No worries. It's not easy. Pisarra.
Pisarra. There we go. David Pisarra. And before we get into today's podcast, I'd like to thank my podcast sponsors, Everyday Fit Life. Look, if you're looking to lose a little weight, get in shape, put on some muscle, if you need some help developing the habits you need to set yourself up, Everyday Fit Life. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Look, this is a program that helps you set the habits, the timing, all the nutritional stuff that you need to know. And you don't even have to change your diet. You can eat the food you like, just eat it in the right portions. And you learn all this through Everyday Fit Life. Like I said, there's 20% off discount in my notes. Use the link. I appreciate it. All right, let's get into a show. David, you got a book, man. Throw out what you're here to promoting.
I'm here to promote this book, Dad's Child Custody Action Plan, Insider Secrets to Family Court Success. I've been a lawyer for 26 years now, fighting for fathers in family court. And what I've noticed is that they generally don't have the tools they need to go into court. And the problem is men don't talk to each other enough about the really important stuff like, how do I win in family court? Like, what do I tell the judge? Women do this stuff all the time. The nail salon, at the hair salon, at the park, when they're like shopping, when they go to the bathroom. They're always strategizing. Men aren't doing that. So I had to start something to get men to start doing that. So I came out with this book, Dad's Child Custody Action Plan. It's designed to give you the information you need in plain language, no legalese, very basic, like here's what the judge wants to know about you. Give him this information and you're going to do much better in family court.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I need, because like I said, I've been divorced twice. The second divorce was a lot easier because because I'm married 3 times. My second ex-wife, she seen what I went through, so she didn't put me through that. But also too, I'm a good dad. And she understood that, because my first divorce, God damn it, like I didn't know what I was walking into the first time, because like I said, there's a stack of paperwork, there's a stack of things, but also too, there's a lot of nothing's in your favor when it comes to a dad, because like, especially in my area, what I'm saying, I'm covered in tattoos, I'm a gnarly looking dude. And, she's like, I'm a drug dealer, I'm this, I'm that, like all these crazy things. And I wasn't prepared for that. So It's like all these accusations being made, and, the court system is in favor of women. And that's just simple. Because like I said, I started off with 1 day every other week. And then I had to build that up over time. It probably took me 5 years just to build up 50-50 custody at that moment in time. You know what I'm saying? And that was just me consistently going back,
Not uncommon, because, and here's the thing, a woman's greatest strength in family court is her ability to play the victim. So if she can cry, if she can get that lip to quiver, if her hands can shake, a little tear, it just triggers all those emotions, particularly if you've got a male judge who's like, I want to protect you. Like, fuck that.
That's the truth. Yeah, that is the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, just because I've shared so much of my experience of divorce on this show, and, and I share it with no caring of repercussions from anybody, because this is a topic that most men are scared to talk about, because it's like, if I talk about this, in this situation, it's going to hurt the kids. In this situation, it's going to make our relationship bad between me and the ex. It's going to, and I stopped caring a long time ago, because it's like, this is vital information that a lot of dads need, because you have to fight to your fullest extent to keep your kids. You know what I'm saying? Because they're trying not to give them to you.
Right. And why is that? Because it's a money issue.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. Yeah. And here's the crazy part too. Like, even on that part, there was a moment in time where I was receiving child support, and, a lot of men don't know it, because like, when you're filed on child support, you actually have to go to the child support office and let them know, like, hey, I need to make sure that this person's paying me fill out all this information, and then they
Mhm.
just deduct it out of their check. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because like I tried to give her an opportunity to like pay, and it didn't even happen because like she just was like, I'm not paying. So I filled out the paperwork, and they're like, oh, okay, now she like they're taking money out my. I'm like, no, these are processes. You know what I'm saying? I'm in your book. It lays it out to where it's like, you know, beginning to end and how to set yourself up.
That's the goal. And you know, one of those things I got to say before I go further, I'm really proud of you. You are a
Yeah.
man who actually valued his kids and put their needs above your own ego. Most men are so scared about their ego and taking child support that they don't do it, which is why women never pay it. They have a
Yeah,
failure rate of like 80%.
exactly.
It's appalling to me how men just let it slide. Like, I don't need her fucking money. You don't need her money, but your kids do.
Yeah, it's
Don't do that
accountability.
crap.
Period. It's
Absolutely.
accountability. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it took me years because, like I said, even with my first divorce, you know, I did. I was so in love. I was so thinking all this was going to work out. I had a retirement job. I was well off, and when it crushed me, like I said, I lost myself.
Right.
And then once
Common.
I was able, and like I said, it takes a long time. A lot of us have to build it up. There's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of feelings. There's a lot of chaos going around that a lot of dads don't know how to express or talk about. And because of that, it puts us in this weird spiral. And it takes something dramatic to get you out. But, you know, what got me out was understanding that the dad I wanted to be, I had to fight to be that it through the court system. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And and I say fight, and I'm talking about violence and all this stuff. Is that's not the intent of it. What it is you have to have a strategy, you have to have a plan, you have to have an understanding of like the playing field here. We're on uneven ground, and because that ground is uneven, it's an uphill battle, and that uphill battle is it'll put you through the ringer. It's a testament to the mental strength that you have to be a father nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Because like even the new
100%.
father,
100%. You know, and that's why I built the VIP program at dadslawschool.com. Because not only are we teaching you what you need to know in the courtroom and how to gather the evidence and then how to use that evidence, because most people don't know, understandable, how to actually use evidence in a trial or a hearing. But speaking to that emotional part where you need to rebuild that ego, you need to rebuild that self-esteem, you need to get through those emotions of you're just feeling all this stuff and you don't know how to process it, do it in a way that's not going to blow your life up. I created the VIP program where we've got monthly meetups, where we've got, which are soon to be weekly, we've got a WhatsApp group where dads communicate with each other on a regular basis throughout the week so that they can actually be like, hey, I'm going through this, I'm feeling that, this is what I'm doing. And they chime in on each other, they support each other in the way that men actually will do when they open up to each other. It's really interesting to me. There's this whole myth that like men don't support each other. Women don't support each other. Women are
yeah,
always like gathering data on each other, trying to figure out how they're going to backstab them.
yep,
Men just don't do a lot of it. But when they do actually come out and be like, this is what's going on, this is what I'm feeling, you'll get 5 guys who are like, yep, went through that same thing right there. This is how I handled it. They're always there with the advice and the opinions. It's a really helpful group for dads to be in who are going through breakups and divorces.
and that's important to have because like even when I was going through it, I didn't have any community. I was basically by myself struggling and not even understanding how to ask for help or how to reach help. You know, like us men we're logical. We think linear. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is what I got to do, and I got to do it by myself. And one of the things, like even in my community, how I've cultivated is like, no, I will give this advice. I have so many friends and so many people that are acquaintances that I've gone through and walked them through just what I went through. So then
Yep.
that they understood that they weren't alone, but also too to have those guidelines, those steps of like, all right, let me take this path. Because like even when you're doing here, you know, one of the biggest things that I've learned to come through is you have to take yourself out of yourself when you're in the court system because you need to be this business professional. You can't really show emotion. You have to be very, very like direct of like, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm going through. This is what I need to happen. And
Right.
you can't react to the other person. And that it's the hardest thing to do because there's so much emotional buildup that you're like, where can I explode? And men can't do that.
And that's exactly what I say in my book is don't, if you want to lose in family court, go in angry.
Mm-hmm.
Like as a man, you show the glimmer of anger, you're dead. Like
Yep.
you've just proved all of her fears about you to the judge. But that doesn't mean don't be assertive.
Yes.
What I say in my book is you need to work through your emotions before you get to court. Be ready for the onslaught because she's going to repeat all the reasons why you're negligent, abusive, don't know the kids, can't handle it, don't know how to parent, don't know how to discipline. He doesn't even know their shoe size, Your Honor. It's always the fucking shoe size. I don't know what
It's
that's
yeah.
about.
You know, it's one of the things. Like even with talk about the shoe size, you know, it's always funny because it's a standing point for them. Like, well, he never takes care of the kids, and you
Right.
know, most households are 2-parent incomes, but a lot of us are one income families, and it's because I have to be this one income person that she stays home and takes care of the kids all day. Like even in my situation, I used to work close to like 60 to 80 hours a week to cover the bills. And
Right.
then once we got divorced, I dropped it down to like 35 to 40 hours a week because I'm like, no, I want my time with the kids. One of the things I always explain to people is like, look, you don't have to work this hard anymore because you're not supporting the entire family group. You're supporting yourself. And because of that, if you want your time, you have to prove that you can have the time. Because like
Yeah.
even in the court system, they're like, well, he's always at work. I'm like, it's because I had to support all of us. And
You have a
I no
choice.
longer have, I no longer have to support all of us. I just got to support my kids. And so
Right.
now the financial burden's off of my back and all I got to do is this, you know what I'm saying? It's like one of those things is like, I felt like, most men after divorce, they bury themselves in work or they bury themselves into something that's going to preoccupy their time because they're trying to mentally figure this out.
Yeah.
And, it's having that understanding of like, I need to figure this part out first and then I can do this. But it's like if you don't do it from the jump, it's a big advantage just on our own.
Totally. And one of the things that's really important for dads to realize is they do need to step up post divorce, post breakup,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not their time.
Yeah.
It's the kids' time.
Yep.
And the focus needs to be on the kids need me. What I bring as a father to the kids is this, this, and this. And dads don't know how to say that to a judge beyond, I'm a great dad. So that's what we're doing with the book is I've got 123 questions at the back. It's called the kid inventory. It's like, here's all the stuff you know about your kid. Like, and you're not going to know all 123 questions. But the point is, if you get 40 of them and you put that in a declaration to the judge, now when mom says he doesn't know the kids, he doesn't know how to discipline them, he never spends any time, and you're disproving that with facts, the judge is suddenly going to be like, actually, sir, you do seem to know your children, and ma'am, you seem to be lying.
Yes. It's being well prepared, because like I said, even in my situation, I was not well prepared, but I am a person of knowledge. And like, even with because I did everything, no lawyer, I had to financially, pay for all this out of my own pocket. But
Right.
luckily the court system does have a free help desk for the majority of, I know at least for in California, they have a free help desk that like will help you fill out the paperwork, will point you in the right direction. And there are programs that are there to help you, but you got to be willing to look for the programs, ask for the help. Because like I went to numerous seminars. I almost lost my job a few times because I would just call into work because I found out about the seminar the day before. And in the seminar, everything that we're talking about, they're explaining. And because they're explaining, it gives you a different perspective of what you need to understand, how to dress, how to talk, how to walk. And that's the thing too, is like those things aren't available if you don't look. And like I'm just with your book, I'm pretty sure it's like everything that I probably had to fight to learn is all in that.
Absolutely. We've got a chapter on how to talk to the judge. It's the first one. I've got a chapter on, do you have to wear a tuxedo and be all formal talking to the judge? No, by the way, you don't, thankfully. I would just look like a short little penguin. not good. I'm 5'5", so to your 6'5", it's like, whoo,
Yeah.
big difference.
Yeah.
But you're right, and that's one of the reasons why this book is so important for dads, is because it puts all that information in 146 pages of just packed content that's easy to understand. It's like, here's what you really need to know. Do this. If you're writing a declaration, here's a sample of what we're talking about. This is what it looks like. This is the first page. Here's all the categories that you need to tell the judge about so that you can walk out of there with more time with your kids. That's the important part. We've got the actual samples of what people need in the book so that they can actually just look at it. And then when you go to my website, you're going to get the free resources. And then when you join up as a member of the VIP program, you're going to get the sample documents, which you can then take and make your own. So I'm doing the work for you. All you got to do is just pick up the book, look at it, and be like, oh, that's what I got to do. Now I'm ready to go.
And that's what a lot of men need, because like I said, like I said, we think linear, and it's like, if we have step-by-step instructions, and just most people are like, look, I read the manual, I read the instructions, and if I have a clear line of sight, it's the possibilities are endless. And that's one of those main things is like understanding that, like, there is a path to success through child support, through divorce, through all these things. The only thing is we don't see we only see the bigger picture. We don't see the smaller picture. And that's what fucks us up a lot, is that because we don't see that, you know what I'm saying? Like the next goal, the next step, do this, do that. It just seems this mounting task that we have to do alone. And you're not alone. We all go through this. A lot of us, been there, done that. When you get involved in a community, especially around dads who are in this situation, it's comforting to know that we have support. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one of the things I'm always here for. You know what I'm saying? I spill my fucking guts on this fucking podcast because I want people to understand they're not alone.
Absolutely. And that community aspect is huge. And I don't know how old you are, but I'm 58. And in my generation, there were a lot of marriages.
I'm 42.
In your kids' generation, you're not going to see nearly as many marriages.
Exactly.
You're going to see a lot more paternity cases.
Yes.
Dads do have to go to court to get time with their kids. Why? Because moms get the kids automatically at birth. They get sole legal, sole physical custody.
Mm-hmm.
Dad doesn't get that. But I signed the birth certificate. Congratulations, sir. You know what that gets you? You have a fast race ticket right to child support. What?
That's it.
That's right. That's all that means, buddy. All that birth certificate gets you is child support.
Exactly.
That's it. Because you've got to go to court to get actual time with your kid.
Yep.
So you've got dads who don't know this, and they don't have a community, like you say. So what I'm building is, through Union of Dads, we are building that community of men who want to be dads, who are stepping up, who are learning what they have to do in court to go there, to support themselves, to explain to the judge, I'm a good dad. Here's what I know about my kid. Here's how my schedule will work with the kids.
Yeah.
One of the things I talk about in our program is having a daily calendar. Like, how much time do you spend with the kids? Then we have a map, a simple little thing like a map. What's on that map? Here's my address. Here's mom's address. Here's where the kids go to school. Here's where they go to karate. So a judge can actually look at it and be like, oh, mom says you can't pick the kids up from school because you're too far away from work, but you're only 5 miles away from mom for work. And that's only a 7-minute commute in my town. Mom's full of crap.
Exactly.
But if men don't know that that's what they're supposed to tell the judge and how to tell the judge, because oftentimes they'll just lead with mom's full of crap. Well, that's not going to cut it, dude. All you've done is make yourself look combative and argumentative.
Yep.
But if you lead with, Your Honor, we're only 7 minutes away from kids' school where I work. Mom's full of crap. Oh, now you've actually given the judge the information and then put your opinion in, which, by the way, you probably shouldn't do.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's hard not to do that, but that is the truth right there.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like one of the hardest things that I went through that was the biggest obstacle for me was understanding mediation. You know what I'm saying? Mediators, at least for here in California, it's different all around the world. But in California, you before you even see a judge, you got to go to a mediator. And a mediator is a therapist. A mediator has seen it all, heard it all. And, mediation is not a place to argue. Mediation is not a place to engage. And like I said, after the first time I spoke with the mediator, I quickly understood what was needed to be, because like, like she riled me up. She got in my face, said all these crazy things, and I interacted. And that's what you don't do. The mediator is there for you to talk to them and only them. And then when he's ready, he'll talk to her. So as long as you have that disconnect, literally imagine an invisible wall in between you, and you only talk to the mediator. And then the easiest way to counter, at least for me, the easiest way to counteract anything that she said that the mediator is going to ask me is to ask a question to that question. You know what I'm saying? Because like one of the biggest things is like, he's a huge alcoholic. He's this, he's that. And the judge is all, well, the mediator was like, how many DUIs you have? I'm like, I don't have any DUIs, sir. I am a commercial driver. And because I have my class A, I get drug tested all the time. So I don't understand why I would have a DUI. And he was like, oh, and then just checked it off and didn't ever acknowledge it again. You know what I'm saying? It's understanding that like these are the tips and tricks. And, I hate to say it like that, but these are the tips and tricks that we need to understand is like, don't engage, don't speak, don't talk, let them get emotional. You stay calm, cool, and collected. I always call it the 3 C's, cool, calm, and collective. Because as long as you have that in your pocket, you are set.
You call it tips and tricks. We call it strategies and tactics.
There we go.
What this book is designed to do is to give you a strategy, and then a tactic is they ask about the DUI, and you're countering with, here's the reason why that's a silly question.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know why she would even raise that, Your Honor. She knows better.
Yep.
Well, what are you just telegraphing to the judge? Oh, mom's playing games. Mom's making crap up.
Exactly. And the judge see these things every single day. So it's like they're quick to pick up the cues as long as you're not presenting yourself as this combative person.
Exactly. And that's the important part, because you want the judge to, because you got to understand the judge is looking at this from this perspective. I've got a kid, and I got to figure out which parent should have majority of time with that kid on the one hand. On the other, which parent is telling the truth. So mom's coming in with all these allegations about dad. He's negligent, he's an alcoholic, he's a drug addict, he's abusive, blah, blah, blah. It's an endless litany of crap.
Yep.
Dad's coming in with what? If dad just comes in with, I'm a great dad, it's not going to beat this stuff. Mm-hmm. But as you start being like, hey, I'm a commercial driver. Here's why that's important. I get drug tested. I don't have DUIs, because if I had DUIs, I can't do my job. That means I'm probably not an alcoholic, Your Honor. Hey, mom says I work too far away from the kid's school. Well, here's the 5 miles between us. Mom says this. Mom says that. Mom says I can't make time for my kids. That's BS, Your Honor, because I'm a commercial driver. We get to pick our own hours. I get to pick the routes I'm doing. Whatever the facts are, that then express to the judge that, hey, you're actually on top of this stuff. Yep. And it's really important, because a lot of times what I've noticed is as a man becomes more assertive, as they take control, like when you went and got the wage garnishment against your ex-wife, which is what that's called. My guess is her tune started to change a little bit. All of a sudden, she's actually having to deal in the real world, not the fantasy world that she's created, because the judge is going to start seeing through that.
Yep. And that's the thing,
the whole tone and timbre of everything that's going on in battles between the two of you. So my guess is eventually that relationship became a lot less contentious. You guys stopped fighting as much.
Well, and here's the thing too, is even with that, it's like me and my first ex-wife, we can't, to me, we'll never be on talking terms because of everything that she's put me through. All my kids with her are over 18 now. So it's like I was looking forward to that day where I was like, block, don't, this, what I'm saying? Because even with a lot of these things, she alienated my kids from me and then tried to turn them on me. And I never, ever once batted an eye at it. My kids will come around, understand that this is how this is. And, eventually, kids get older, they see the truth. And sure as shit, all my kids were like, oh, my mom's a horrible mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing. See, being the new divorced dad is all about just making sure that you're present. And by being present, God damn, it makes your relationship so much stronger with your kids. And then also too, it's like I've never talked bad, I've never talked down, and I've never spoken ill of their mom to them, because guess what? They'll understand when they get older, and I don't need to put that kind of pressure on them, because that was one of the things that she would do to our kids, is like make me seem like this evil dude that's like all this stuff. And I'm like, that's how your mom feels. I can't help that.
It's amazing to me every time I hear that story, which is a rather common story of
Very,
he's
very.
trying to turn the kids against him.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say about them as a person? Like,
Huh.
they chose you.
Yeah.
Like, you're saying, I am a horrible picker. Kids, don't listen to me because I don't know what I'm doing. I can't choose a good person.
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, for real.
I mean, it's one thing if it's a one-night stand. I get that. We've had those cases where, literally it was a one-night stand. And yes, he was a bit of a douche. But you picked him anyways. Like,
exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. It's like, it's always funny because like the grass is always greener on the other side until you get there.
Yep.
And then you just realize, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I'm like, hey, you can't be mad at me for your mistake. You know what I'm saying? And dads get punished for it. Point blank period. That's just what it is. We absolutely are the brunt, like our emotions, our feelings, we're designed and set up, and the architect is this stoic person who's quiet, handles everything, is this non-showing emotional person who bottles it in. And because of that, we're treated a very specific way. And it probably took me into my late 20s to like understand what emotions and feelings were and actually how to express them. And once I started doing that, god damn, my fucking life changed. And when it changed, it was like this shift of like, oh, okay, I'm actually dealing with this. All this stress is off my fucking shoulders.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one of the things that I tell dads who are going through the VIP program when they get in here and they start actually letting stuff out and getting feedback that, oh, you're not weak, you're not normal, you're not abnormal, you're not crazy, which you are feeling is very normal. All of a sudden their shoulders drop because they're more like, oh, I'm not the only one. You're right.
Exactly.
The community, that's important.
Yeah, it's very, very important. Like I said, there's something about not feeling alone and having someone actually understand and have been there, done that in the same situation where you're just like, oh, okay, and to have these examples of success, because that's the most important thing, is seeing that going through divorce, going through child custody, going through these does have an endpoint, and people are successful at it. Like I said, there's gonna be a lot of bad stories, but guess what? The good stories are never highlighted, and because they're never highlighted, we never see them. You know what I'm saying? All we ever see in the media is shitty fathers, this person. I was like, guess what? There's a lot more good fathers out there than there are the shitty fathers, and negative stories are the ones that get promoted, and because it gets promoted, we don't get to see that. You know what I'm saying? The everyday dad who is there for their kids 24/7, forgiving, understanding, loving, and there to help their child grow is never promoted. And because it's not promoted, we don't see that.
And the flip side is this. How often do you hear about bad moms? It's only a headline of mom kills her 3 kids. Mom gets life in prison for killing her husband and 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about bad moms.
No.
It's verboten. No.
Yep.
All moms are saints. All moms belong on pillars. All moms are these sacrificial people who just should be honored and lauded all day long with how perfect and wonderful they are. Bullshit. There are a lot of bad moms out there, and I'll tell you how I know that. The family court system is full of people who are fighting over their kids. Bad moms make dads fight over their kids.
Yep.
Good moms don't have to do that. It's a definition. If you have to go to family court to get custody to see your kids, you're dealing with a bad mom. And you need to recognize that and take her off that pedestal because it's going to change the way you act in this case. When you stop seeing her as that pretty little girl in the sundress that's going to just make all your dreams come true. No. We're dealing with the Wicked Witch of the West here, buddy. You need to start recognizing what you're really dealing with, and she's a bad mom. Now you're going to portray this person in your mind as an actual person that you have to combat, which is going to change how you show up for your kids and to the court. That's the important part.
And that's a big indicator of like understanding that, it's seeing that, and it's acknowledging that, because a lot of us, and this is just from my perspective, when I was first going through it, I just had this like, everything that went down was my fault.
Yep.
That's how we're meant to feel. That's how this is put on. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's exactly what it is. And we need to understand that when you're a good dad, you're putting in these fucking efforts and you're putting in this time and you're doing what you're supposed to do, it's not your fault. You need to understand the failure didn't happen to you. It happened because of them. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the divorce that even happens is initiated by the mom. And because it's initiated by the mom, it's her indicating that this is failing because of her. It's not you. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's something that people need to understand. Dads need to understand that and learn that. And it needs to be more presented as that, because we feel like we failed because we've worked so hard towards this.
100%. You know, we have a saying in the VIP program, every accusation is an admission. Every time she tells you that you're abusive, that you're an alcoholic, that you don't know how to handle the kids, she's actually admitting her own anger, abuse, negligence, because that's the reality.
Yeah. It's the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's the truth. You know, you point a finger, you got a couple pointed back at you, and it's just one of those things. You know what I'm saying? Like I like, even one of the things that I went through that was, it wasn't, I didn't really go through it, but you know, the alienation of your friends and family when you're going through divorce, and the portrayal that is put on you, because it's like, you guys are going through this divorce, you guys are having all these issues. And, you know, luckily for me, I've always been this person who's always been active in my kids' life. Like, I would work these 12-hour days, but I would also be the coach of the baseball team. I would be the coach of anything that we're doing. I would be participating. I would always be there. And like, everyone knew in my circle that, oh, Ben takes care of his kids. Ben loves his kids. And when she was like, oh, Ben's this horrible person, he's doing this and this, everyone's like, do you not recognize that or understand that we know him? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and because that's what always happens. It's one of those tactics they try to do. They try to make you feel alone and segregated from everyone in your family, because they're trying to portray this picture so that they're not the bad guy.
Right. And the reality is, they're lonely, miserable people. Unfortunately, I'm sorry you feel that way, but that's just your life.
Yep.
And they have to make everybody else lonely and miserable.
That's it.
It's an unfortunate reality, but you know, there's this myth that like men are naturally competitive and they can't stand each other. I say bullshit.
Yeah.
Women who all get along because they're all princesses and they all look fabulous and they're all queens are the most backstabbing, mean individuals. They hate their best friend. They're jealous of their second best friend, and they would gladly slit the throat of their third best friend to get to their husband.
Yep.
And I say it comes from this. You know, there's definitely a biological basis for all of that. Mm-hmm. Women just have to compete for the better man to get better resources. But it's also, men learn how to work in hierarchies. Men learn on the football field, on the baseball field, on teams, how to pull together and how to accept leadership.
Yep.
Women don't do that.
Not at all. Not at all. You know, it's just one of those things. Like, and also too, it's like, you know, even women have this betrayal of, you know, men don't talk about their feelings. Oh no, we do. It's just, we have a better understanding of each other. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, we don't think in these sporadic thoughts. We think most men think in logical understanding. I can say this and he gets it kind of conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, we don't need to break down every emotion. We just need to have an understanding of, this is our thought, these are our feelings. Hey, I've been there. And that's enough of an acknowledgement to make a man feel comfortable, because guess what? He understands it, and I can tell from his talk, his eyes, his emotions, his vibration. I can hear all this stuff, and that's comforting because it's like we get it on that level. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to break it all down, but we just need to have an understanding of like, I get it.
Exactly. You know, we're raised to kind of always pay attention to body language because it's a threat response, right? So I'm
Yep.
very aware of like, is this 6'5" guy like ready to boil over and I need to like figure out how to handle this situation? Or is this 6'5" guy ready to crumble because he's so full of emotion and depression that I don't know where that's going to go?
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why, if you look at the statistics on domestic violence, who do you think's the most violent? Lesbians, heterosexual couples, gay male couples? Theory would be the most violent would be the gay male couples, right? I mean, men are just naturally violent creatures. We're horrible. We're always being abusive. It's exactly wrong. The highest level of domestic violence is among lesbian couples. Why is that? Because women are empowered to be abusive. Your wife can come up and slap you and you're not going to react.
Yep.
She's empowered to go ahead and do that. It's seen in movies. The woman slaps the man, like, and
Yep.
and gets away with it.
Exactly.
So they're told you can do this. Two men, I'm gonna do some serious thinking before I hit you.
Yeah.
I am going to know, like, can I take this guy or not? Now the odds of my hitting you are pretty much never. I'm 5'5" and way out of shape. So that's not going to happen. But if we're in a relationship, I'm going to always be moderating my behavior.
Yeah.
Because I know what the risks are. We do risk analysis.
All the time. It's constantly floating through our heads as a man.
Always. It's always there. Like, if something goes down, can I or can't I take this guy?
Yeah. You know, it's one of those things too, is like, because it's there and we see it, we acknowledge it. It's just so crazy that, like, you know, the women's entitlement, and I'll say it like that because it is an entitlement of how they feel that they can just dominate in a relationship and in these situations because they just feel they have this power. But the dynamic is even in, it's supposed to be even in the court system, but it's not. But the thing is once you make it even ground and you put yourself on that even playing field by doing everything you're talking about in your book, it changes how everything's approached.
Right. Absolutely. Because the important thing is to understand where you are and how to be assertive in that environment to state your case in such a way that the judge can see what's really going on.
Yeah.
You know, we have this new thing in the world of domestic violence called coercive control. I'm not really sure what it means. I don't think anybody really does. It's sort of a catch-all phrase like, oh, they're coercively controlling me. I need to have a restraining order because that's going to actually give me more custody of the kids, which is actually giving me more child support, which is what this is really all about.
Yeah.
Right? Your wife ever tell you, any of your wives ever tell you you fold the towels wrong? You didn't load the dishwasher correctly? You're not doing this right? What is that?
Yep.
There's no right way to fold a towel.
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to turn it into a swan, there's no right way. There's the way that your mother taught you, and that's what you're going to do.
Yep.
She thinks that that's the only right way, and she's going to tell you when you're doing it the way your mother taught you that you're wrong. So what does that do in a relationship? It elevates her, suppresses you, and now you're going to start shutting down. And women don't understand that when they do that, they're actually causing the shutdown that they resent. If I keep telling you, you load the dishwasher wrong, how many times is it going to take before you're like, fuck it, I'm not doing it?
Yeah, and that's the truth. Yeah. That's the truth. You know,
why would you continue doing something that you always do wrong?
Exactly. Why am I going to do something that always makes you mad? I'm not going to sit here and make a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like even in my relationship, I used to work in a foundry place called U.S. Pipe and Foundry. Worked there for 13 years. All right. And I was working 12 to like 20 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just what it takes to run, to, you know, support your family. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've come in a very low income area, and you got to work to work. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't an everything day thing, but I would come home and the house wouldn't be clean, all these things. But then you need to help me do this. I'm like, I just worked 12 hours. What am I supposed to do right now? I'm so tired. And like, when I would come home too, like, just so we have an understanding, you couldn't see an inch of my skin because I would be covered in soot. You know what I'm saying? I'd be
Yep.
completely full of all these things. And then it's like, you need to do this. I'm like, and it almost makes you feel like you don't want to come home because you're just like, I have to
No.
leave from a hard day's labor to come do another full day's hard labor.
Right. It's this meme that's going around of how much time do you spend in the driveway before you walk in the house?
Exactly. Exactly.
How many guys park a block away from their house to just decompress for 20 minutes before they go in? And the first thing they're hit with is, you don't, and you don't, and you need to. And it's like, Jesus Christ, no wonder these relationships are failing.
Yep. You know?
The endless neediness. And it's like, fuck that. Glad I'm gay.
Yeah. Right, and like I said, it's so crazy, like everything that we go through here, and just as a father and just as a person who's definitely been through this system so many times, it's just sharing these experiences, and thank God that you've made a community, because there's not very many communities of divorced dads or for dads to actually seek some guidance, and also too is like, having a book that's a step by step, it's in the right direction of like trying to empower men, because that's one of those things is toxic masculinity is this term that was being thrown around so freaking hard, but it's understanding, like, at least from my understanding, is it was hurting men because it's like, we can't be who we need to be without being this toxic masculinity traits. I'm like, no, this is how men are supposed to be. You get a lot of people now that like just have this sense of entitlement where like, well, you can't be like that. I'm like, and I always tell people, so it's like, you don't live in my life, you don't live in my shoes. And if you want to tell me how to act and how to talk, then guess what? You better step up to the plate and instruct me here, and
Yep.
it's just one of those things. It's like, no, I teach myself to be, and I've given all these things to my kids: independence, thinking, being on their own, not being scared to be alone, not scared to speak their mind, and having the ability to be assertive in the world. And it's crazy because assertiveness is considered toxic masculinity.
It is, but victimhood is considered honorable.
Yeah.
Right? Like a woman being a victim in family court. Oh, we're so sorry. He's so horrible. We're so bad. We need to keep him away from you and the kids. Bullshit. This is all about money.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
When things go down, it's the toxic masculine men that actually get things done. In a hurricane and the power lines are down, you're not seeing those like feminists out there trying to like put up electrical wires.
Yeah.
You're seeing burly men who probably could use a good cup of coffee doing the hard labor that keeps our society going.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I said, it's just so crazy because like there's so many aspects that divorce highlights and child custody and all this stuff highlights, and it's just like it's so crazy because they're trying to suppress men in such a way that we don't have rights, and it upsets me all the time.
They're trying to take away Dad's rights to his kids.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. People love to say, oh, the system is against men. I don't know if that's true. I know it's true for bad moms who are using the system to hurt dads.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a hammer. A hammer, properly used, can create the Statue of David. A hammer, properly used, can build you a house. A hammer, improperly used, can kill. Is the hammer really the problem? No. The court system isn't really the problem. It's how people are using it. And women use it way better than men, which is why I've got the Dad's Law School VIP program to teach dads how to do this stuff. It's why I've got the book, Dad's Child Custody Action Plan, to teach dads how to use the system to their advantage. It's take that hammer, build a statue, don't kill something.
And that's the thing too, is you're giving the right tools and the ability to use those tools. And when you have the instruction manual in front of you, please goddamn read it. Don't throw it away, because it is that important.
Well, the good news is this: you don't even have to read it. If you get the book, you get the free audiobook download, so you can just listen to it.
Yeah, you can't beat that right there. Well, Dave, hey, thank you for coming on. I appreciate your time here. Let everybody know where they can find you, all your information, and I will also put that all in the notes.
Awesome. The best way is just go to dadslawschool.com. Designed to be really easy to remember. It's just, who are you and what are you trying to learn and where are you going to learn it? Dad's Law School.
That's it. I appreciate it. And, I have a little thing. I'm the Angry Dad. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and all that good shit. If you want to listen to this, you want to watch this on YouTube, you want to listen to a Spreaker, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, SoundCloud, Deezer, iHeartRadio. This motherfucker's everywhere. You can easily fucking find it. Rate, review, like, subscribe, all that fucking bullshit. I'm also part of the Inner Circle Podcast Network, a group of powerful podcasters out there sharing their shit. That is innercirclepn.com. Take it every one of our websites, every one of our shows. We have shows as The Plunge, Failing Hollywood, Simmons and More, The Untrained Eye, The Hood Diner, and Shit Happens When You Party Naked. So make sure you check it the fuck out. And I'll see y'all motherfuckers on the next one. Fuck.
Always living, always living, always living, always living, always living, always living.